Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier and this is the Piracy Show. Now in today's show we're going to be dealing with the rumored, though still somewhat unclear, Consolidated Outland Pioneer. I was about to say Phoenix there. Now the Pioneer is rumored to be a construction vessel used for building bases. Now this is going to likely be the CitizenCon ship sale. Rumors and speculation puts the price, because it's a fairly large ship apparently, puts the price anywhere between, I've seen $300, which I think is adorable, and I've seen $750, which I think is slightly ambitious. Probably 500, 600 range is my guess. But rumors, leaks, some statements, or some evasive statements rather, from CIG kind of point to it being a construction ship. Now, one thing that we do know going all the way back to last year is that we were going to be able to build our own bases. In the summer of last year, of course, when we were getting our big 3.0 reveal, it was mentioned that, you know, there's plenty of real estate out there to build on. Chris Roberts said that. And Brian Chambers, I believe, if I recall correctly, because I dug around trying to find it, but Brian Chambers, I believe, did make a statement at one point saying that there was internal documentation, but it was loose documentation on which direction they would go with that. And, you know, obviously there's a lot of stuff that they have to build out first, but that things were heading in that direction, and he didn't see a reason for it not existing. Now, if I remember correctly, it was an interview he did with Bad News Baron, and it was like June of last year or July, if I remember correctly. Now, base construction is something that we've talked about before. We've speculated, and I've kind of pointed to different ideas, things that I would like, sort of like building like Echo Base on Hoth and The Empire Strikes Back, something dug in and hidden within a canyon or underground, something cool like that. Maybe something that's not so obvious on the surface and is more built subterranean. Things that I would like to see, but for right now it looks like most construction, probably that's within our range, is going to be deployable structures on the surface of a planet or possibly an asteroid. Now, asteroid bases are something that has existed since, I believe it was the $4.5 million funding mark, when they said Vanduul trading posts would be put in the game, as would smuggler asteroid bases. And of course we have Grim Hex, which is just confirmation that at least the latter exists, or is going to exist in the final version of the game. But can we build within an asteroid field is one of the questions I'm hoping that we're going to get answered at CitizenCon with the reveal of the Pioneer. Above all else, when it comes to base building, I am leaning more towards, if I ever have to build any kind of a base, that I would build something into an asteroid rather than on the surface of a planet, because asteroid fields, we've heard that some of them need to be scanned out, some of them need to be found and are not immediately obvious, and they're probably going to be very large. So chances are you might be able to find a little out of the way corner somewhere where you can put up a little depot where perhaps goods can be dropped off, you know, pilfered goods, stolen goods can be dropped off, where someone else can arrange to come in and pick them up and then smuggle them off to somewhere where they can be sold. Now, of course, for a pirate, this raises a lot of problems. If you're building an asteroid base somewhere within the reaches of the system, like let's say we were using the Stanton system where we are now, in the asteroid belt around Yela, you're going to get found. You're going to get found in minutes. I mean, you can't really hide anything of substance there. Remember Big Benny's henge? That was discovered in Yeah, like minutes. They were saying, oh, we thought it was going to take people a while to find that. Yeah, not quite. So the hopes and dreams of setting up your own personal little private pirate hideaway somewhere in an asteroid belt are probably not going to materialize. Or if we are able to build asteroid bases, if we are able to construct these things, chances are having it anywhere nearby a planet or a shipping lane or something like that is probably not going to last too long. There's just going to be so many players out there exploring. Chances are it will be found relatively quickly. So you might think that this kind of dashes your hopes of ever building a pirate base. And I would say, in all honesty, it's contingent on a few conditions. There's a few things that need to exist to make a pirate base, not even just say an asteroid base, but a base in general, viable. Now, one, if you are limited to planetary bases, if that is the hard limit, it must be built on a planet, then I would say conservatively, no, it wouldn't be a good idea. A planet is just too much of a known thing. It is something that everyone knows where it is, and so everyone is going to be out there exploring, checking things out, and sooner or later you're going to be found, and probably on the sooner side of things. Chances are, if your base is found, even if the person who finds it doesn't want to do anything, they're probably going to put that information out there, and someone who has got an axe to grind against you, or pirates in general, is probably going to come and mess up your stuff. Which brings us to asteroid bases. If asteroid bases are possible, even say just creating small structures on the surface and not quite building into an asteroid, if that is possible in the game, if that becomes part of the game, then I would say tentatively yes. Because an asteroid is a much smaller object, there's a lot more of them, so chances are it'll be easier to hide what you want to build. Now you can possibly keep that base in a powered down state and maybe paint it a certain color so that it it disappears against the background, so it's very difficult to spot visually and on sensors. Perhaps there's some kind of masking technology that allows you to hide it electronically even more so. Now I think what would make this almost a definite yes, you can do it, is it depends on the solar systems themselves and how, they're not obviously not going to be infinitely large. They're not going to be incredibly large like, say, our own solar system is in the real world, but if they can somewhat approximate the way our solar system is built, then possibly. If you look at the planetary region within our solar system, that only makes up a small proportion of the area within what is considered the solar system. There is an area beyond that called the Oort cloud. Now, if we can get some kind of approximation of that, where you see this vast amount of bodies existing on the very far perimeter of our solar system and existing above it, below it, all around it in a big sphere, if we can get some approximation of that within the scale of a star system of Star Citizen, then that gives you so much more real estate to use and so many more places to hide. And I think if that exists to a certain degree, then building a pirate base in space, I think, becomes a viable thing and a worthwhile thing. Now, of course, I'm not saying this to dash anybody's hopes or ambitions. This is simply my conservative outlook on what would make it viable in my eyes. Now, you might be able to stomach a little more risk, perhaps, or you're just, I don't care, I'm just going to build it, and whatever happens is whatever happens. I love base building games, and this is exactly what I'm looking for. Then a ship like this certainly becomes very interesting, and very worthwhile for someone like you, especially someone who likes to go out and build bases. If it is indeed the Consolidated Outland Space Construction Pioneer ship, rumored ship, but very quickly or very soon we will find that out. So those are my thoughts on the Consolidated Outland Pioneer, if it is what it is supposed to be, for pirates, from a pirate point of view. Of course, if you're someone who's going to be playing on the legitimate side of the game and you want to build a base on a planet out there where everyone can see it, you don't care, then chances are this is probably the ship that you have been waiting for. Now, as a pirate, of course, you're probably going to want to be a little bit more secretive about where you build, and chances are this is not a ship that's going to turn up anytime soon, so you're probably not going to have a lot of chance to experiment with it before we get to a stage in the game where everything counts and losses are in fact losses and not something that you can say, ooh, I'll wait for the next reset, or I'll just wait until I can just respawn my ship because I don't really lose anything anyway. Chances are, we won't have a lot of time to play around within that window, so it's going to be a really tough call to see what the limitations on bases are going to be, not just in the broad sense of as CIG outlines it to us, but in terms of a personal viability sense. Is it worth your time and effort to do something like that? It's probably going to be quite a while before we see the ship materialize in the Star Citizen universe, unless of course CIG prioritizes this above other things. But yeah, in the broad strokes, that's what I would be looking for in the Pioneer. That's the things that I would like to see. I would like to hear about asteroid bases specifically before I would ever consider it. And I'm more of a base user, not a base builder, so this ship doesn't quite cater to my interests, but I do know of perhaps one or two people who would basically grab their wallet and just throw it at the screen and just say, take all the money, give me the ship. I know a couple of people like that. So hopefully it's going to be something really great and something that will live up to those hopes and help those players realize their ambitions. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.